Hey guys, Trent at Black Horse Ranch, and we got some Crawlspace dramas. So come on down inside and I'll show you what we got. We're down in here in the Crawlspace, and I came down a little while ago to check. We had a couple of gophers pop up in here while we were pouring the concrete for the foundation because the grade on the outside is so low. So I came down here to check right after Ed Carson from Granby Post and Beam came out here. I just wanted to see if those gophers had popped back up because we trapped one of them. And I found out a couple of bad things. So one, the second gopher had come back up. And the worst thing is we have a whole bunch of mold down here. And so, you know, it's kind of annoying, and you know, some people might say I told you so, but this is the first time I've ever really done out of sequence construction. Normally when you're doing stuff, you know, vapor barrier goes down before you build your subfloor. We had ordered a special vapor barrier, and it was on back order, and it took like 2 extra weeks to get here. Well, actually it took about a month extra to get here. It was 2 weeks past when I started checking into it. Anyway, we had to go ahead and get the subfloor down and get the barn set down. And so 2 months, and I'll show you here in a minute, but we have a lot of mold growth, and it's mostly on the ground. Some of it's on the wood. So I was advised by the people that I got the vapor barrier from, are a Crawlspace encapsulation company. They do this for a living. They remediate mold in crawl spaces all the time, and so they had advised me what to do in the situation. So we've had a dehumidifier running down here for almost 3 days now. You're supposed to do 48 hours minimum. So there's a couple of things that contributed. I guess first of all, I'm putting this video out there. It's something I never really thought about. I didn't know mold could grow this fast. And there was no intent to, you know, leave this like this with no vapor barrier for this long. That's just kind of how it worked out. So, you know, the tops of the bottom of the subfloor is starting to turn dark. So definite signs of moisture. So a couple of contributing factors. So no vapor barrier, that's the big one. The second one is we haven't backfilled on the outside yet, and we don't have our moisture barrier on the outside or dimple mat membrane installed yet. So those are a couple of things that are allowing more moisture to come in than normal. But the big one is the vapor barrier, and then, you know, eventually the insulation, the spray foam insulation will seal it tight and keep that from getting more moisture. So we have to go through, and I mean, luckily there's not a lot of mold on the wood. That's the part that you're concerned about. But we have to go through this whole place, and I don't want to be down here too long without my mask on, but basically the process is dehumidify for at least 2 days, which we've been doing. You can hear that dehumidifier in the background. And then after that, we have to spray. The professional chemicals are a peroxide-based solution, and hydrogen peroxide kills mold. And also hydrogen peroxide will penetrate surfaces. So in a lot of my research and a lot of the people that I've talked to that have done a lot of mold remediation, and we happen to have a lot of those people that we've run across in our time here, bleach is not a good thing to use on mold. It kills surface mold, and that's kind of debatable from what I've read, but it can't penetrate because of its molecular structure. So it only gets stuff on the surface. It can't actually get inside the wood pores and stuff. So that's one downside. And then it also leaves a residue that becomes food for mold. So the peroxide-based solution is a better solution. So we have to go through and spray all the wood surfaces, and some of it's going to mist down onto the floor. The dirt is where the mold's growth is the heaviest. And so it'll get some of that stuff, but we're going to cover that. I mean, you can't prevent mold from growing on the dirt because it's always going to have moisture in it, but you can prevent everything else. So, you know, I'm putting this out there for you guys just for something to think about. You know, we're going through this struggle, so you won't have to if you ever do this. You know, that's what we're gonna be doing today. I've got some lights put up in here, and I'm gonna spray today, and then we're gonna come back and put the vapor barrier in. So come around with us and see what we gotta do here. It's not gonna be fun. You can see my footprints on the ground. All the white, which my daughter said looks like frost, is all mold. And I don't know if you can see, there's not much mold on the ceiling now. It's just some really white fuzzy stuff. And then there's our dehumidifier running back there. So it's been going for a while. So we're gonna start back here in the corner and work our way back toward the opening. And then we'll come back through, and I gotta scrub the joists with a HEPA vac, and then we'll put the vapor barrier down. So that's 1 gallon down. It was about almost 18 minutes to do a gallon, but it was 2 pony walls, so it should be a little bit less on the next. I got 4 gallons of hydrogen peroxide. Also, white vinegar will kill mold the same as hydrogen peroxide. I think hydrogen peroxide might be a little bit more effective with the penetrating and all that. So I got 4 gallons. I almost did 1 whole bay with 1 gallon. So I'm thinking we'll make it, but it'll be close. We might have to finish it off with white vinegar. So that smell will dissipate if we have to use vinegar. It doesn't hang around. But it's brutal squatting down there for that long. I'm hot. Gotta fill up the next tank and get going again. Well guys, we got it all sprayed. Brutal. Took me a couple hours, and I ended up using like half a gallon of vinegar. So the hydrogen peroxide, which I've read about, like gets all foamy on the mold, and it's you can see it acting. And so we're supposed to go back. Now I looked at the dehumidifier before I turned it off and covered it with plastic when I was spraying, and it said relative humidity down there was still 89%. So that's been running for 3 days like that. So I don't think we're gonna be able to get much going on with that dehumidifier down there. I think now it becomes, you know, more of a priority to get that vapor barrier down, because there's no way it can keep up with that ground. So that the dirt is just oozing moisture constantly. So plus we've still got, on a couple sides over here, we've still got snow melting down into the where we need to backfill down by the footing. So we're gonna keep going with it. I think the next thing, as soon as it dries out enough to where there's not drips hanging everywhere, I mean, maybe we'll even do it before that, but we need to get that vapor barrier down, and then we'll leave the dehumidifier down there after that. But that'll keep a whole bunch of that moisture from coming up in. So that'll be the next thing we work on. We're done down there for today, so we'll see you the next time. Hey guys, so it's the next day after I've sprayed the Crawlspace, and today I want to check a few things. One of the things I want to check, yesterday when I went down there, it was 89% relative humidity, and the dehumidifier had been running for 3 days. So I want to check that. I don't think it'll be much different. I don't think it can keep up with the dirt floor being exposed. And then I also need to check, I set a trap. It looked like another gopher had come in the same hole and filled it in, so I set a trap in there for that. So we'll see if we got that one. We should be able to maintain control of the gophers once we get everything backfilled and stuff. They usually stay pretty close to the surface, and then during this time of year in the spring, they'll start making their mounds outside, and we can trap them out there. So we'll be sure to stay on top of that. But gophers are a big problem around here, and so something we gotta try to remedy. And then after that, I'm gonna start putting down the vapor barrier. And so that should help a lot with, you know, how the dehumidifier is able to keep up with the humidity. So that's what we're going to be working on today.
Okay, we're down here. I've got my mask on, so hopefully you can hear me all right. But we're going to head over to the dehumidifier. So you can see we're at 90% relative humidity, 43 degrees, so it's hard to keep it dehumidified when it's that cool as well. So we need to get that vapor barrier down, and that's really our best option at this point. So we'll just go check that gopher hole. So there's no more evidence that the gopher was down here. The trap's not tripped and the dirt's not filled in. So we're just going to go ahead and fill this in, take out the extra dirt. And I'm not really sure what will happen if the gopher comes up underneath the vapor barrier. So it might be something that we have to mess around with later on.
Hey guys, we're going back into Crawlspace to do some stuff, and I found it pretty hard to get good video. So what I'm gonna do is kind of go through and just give you updates every so often. So we've gotten all the plastic laid down, and we started taping it. And yesterday and today have been really rainy and humid, so we'll see how the dehumidifier is doing. It was stopped yesterday. It has an automatic pump in it that's supposed to pump out the condensate that it gets from dehumidifying, but it was waiting for me to empty the bucket. It also has a reservoir you can empty, so something happened where it wasn't using the pump anyway. So yesterday I reset it and got it going. It sounds like it's still running, so we'll check the humidity and see what it's done. But it has helped putting the vapor barrier down. So now we got to go through and get everything taped, and we won't actually see like the full seal of the crawl space until we get the insulation sprayed on the wall. So but I'll show you what we've done so far, and I'll try to just make it quick because I don't want to breathe down there too much without my mask on, and then we'll go from there. All right guys, here it is. And you can see I started vacuuming over there yesterday with the HEPA vac, and we got most of the plastic laid down, and so I have to tape along these footings. And we're taping to, there's a vapor barrier that's already underneath the footing, so we're taping down to that. And then we got to go up the walls. And if you see that across the concrete wall over there, that white strip, that's butyl tape, and it sticks to the concrete and also the plastic, so that the plastic will go up and stick to that, and that'll just hold the plastic until we get the spray foam on. So that's what she looks like right now, and I'll give you another update. I might be able to video some of the taping, but other than that, it's kind of hard to video. I'm moving around so much down here, and I don't want any of the family to come down and have to deal with all this, so I'm just doing it. Plus I only have one vacuum. So anyway, that's what we got going on. So here's the dehumidifier, and we're at 85% humidity, which is down 5% from when I came down yesterday. The other problem with the dehumidifier is, since we're not at the point where we can heat the building, we have to have it down here, and you can see it's 44 degrees. This will work down to 41, but part of the dehumidifying process uses refrigerant, just like an air conditioner, and so it builds up ice on the coils. And you can see right now that little orange light on the far left is showing that it's in defrost mode. So it has to stop dehumidifying every so often and basically do a reverse cycle to heat the coils and melt the frost off the coils, and then it goes back into dehumidify mode. So not very efficient when it's this cold. That's another thing that I've talked about doing, maybe, is putting a heater down here to see if we can keep the air temperature a little bit warmer so the dehumidifier can work better. So anyway, that's how that's looking right now for us. Hey guys, so I wanted to do this last video on the crawl space here today. We've got all the vapor barrier up and taped, and so all we lack now is the spray insulation. And we're not actually going to do that until we insulate the whole building. And it'd be nice to do it now, but part of the downside of being remote, like I've talked about before, is we get charged when the companies come out of the valley. They charge us, to come up here. And if we do 2 different sprays, then they're going to charge us, a lot of extra. And it's already going to be expensive with the spray foam. So we're gonna wait on that, but backfilling and getting the drain put around the outside, we can do that before, and that'll help because we'll have our dimple membrane, and it'll keep the moisture off of the foundation from the outside. So I wanted to just give you a quick look at the rest of this, and all I have left to do is go through and actually scrub the rest of the wood with the HEPA vac. I've already done a bunch of it, and I just have a bit more to do. So that'll be the last little bit. So here it is, the finished product. It actually cleans up quite nicely. So it's taped and sealed. You can see the tape here along the footing. So there's the vapor barrier that goes underneath the concrete, and then this is the tape. It's like clean room tape or something, and then we're taped to that. So yeah, that's everything. Let's go over and check the dehumidifier real quick and see how that's faring since we got this all taped. So that's awesome. We're at 60% humidity. That's the lowest I've seen it ever down here. So that's a huge improvement. All right, guys. So it's been another one of those things where, we kind of got bit by it. Hopefully those don't keep happening, but we're here for the long haul. So if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. If you like these videos with the barn, please share them, and other people might enjoy them as well. And it's all for you guys, so hope you enjoy it, and we'll keep them coming. Thanks for watching. Take care.